Raise your fists up. Tip cups to the ceiling if you're sick of feeling ripped off. I let my fist off, get lit and lift off. Raise your hands if you with me and you pissed off. I'm standing on the corner of 6th Street. I'm running out of time for this week. My head's pounding, stomach shaking. It's worth it, the hunger makes it.
Of men. The invaders entered the distant northern kingdom of Kislev and sacked its largest city, Prague. They sacrificed its people to their dark gods, and any who managed to flee were driven into the freezing wilderness. The Empire seemed powerless to stop the Chaos Horde, and many feared that the end of the world was at hand. But in the Empire's darkest hour, a nobleman from the south named Magnus rallied the people of the Empire to resist the invaders, uniting the warring Elector Counts in the process. The Imperial army marched to the rescue of the Kislevite capital, fighting Kul's army in a massive battle outside the city walls. Joined by mighty heroes from all across the land, Magnus defeated Kul in single combat, and the Chaos Horde was scattered to the winds. Blessed by the gods, and heralded as the true Emperor, Magnus returned to Nuln in triumph. But even as the old world celebrated Magnus's victory, the Dark Gods were planning their revenge.
All right. And yeah, this is going to be my first foray into Warhammer. Never played these games before. Should be interesting. We'll see anyways. Nope, there we go. Oh, oh. Fuck sakes. Ugh. Oh, come on. Sorry, everybody. Gonna have to shut this fucking down temporarily.
There was a time when an emperor ruled in Nuln, and the Empire was at peace. But that was long before you were born. Soldiering is the only life you've ever known. Your father was a swordsman in service to the Elector Count of Reichland. By the time you were 15, he was dead, and his sword and armor passed to you. You've lost count of the number of battles you fought. Some were victories, others defeats. Most were fought over the same barren hills and empty villages, year after year. You rose through the ranks, replacing men who'd fallen along the way. Then came the news of the Chaos invasion. Panicked Reichlanders spoke of the end of the world, and you feared they were right. With the Empire divided, who could stand against Kul and his horde? But then a nobleman from the old imperial capital of Nuln stepped into the breach. His name was Magnus, and he called upon the warring Elector Counts to stand as one and drive back the Chaos Horde. You expected no one to listen, but this time was different. Magnus's message spread like wildfire across the Empire. Within weeks, you and your company were on the march, joining the growing army as it headed north. Not even a lifetime of battles could prepare you for the nightmare that waited at Kislev. Just when all seemed lost, Magnus and his knights launched a desperate charge.
Do I need a backstory to Warhammer to give a shit about this?
Surrounded, you and your men
probably. I guess so.
It was the company's greatest victory, and its last. By the time the battle was over, You were the only one left. Once the dead were buried, you accepted Magnus's invitation to join his retinue and return with him to Nome. After the horrors you witnessed at Kislev, defending the Empire from its foes is the only battle worth fighting anymore.
Okay. Threw around a lot of names and places there that I don't give a fuck about. I don't know, man. Trying to care. Trying to care really hard. I feel like there's literature beside this that I should have read in order to care. And if there wasn't, then you just threw a ton of shit at me with no precedent. But whatever. You know, we'll try.
It was an age of lawlessness and despair. A time of dark magic, treachery, and war. It is a night made for witchery and evil deeds. And across the city, guardsmen clutch their weapons tightly and count the hours until the dawn. Sleep is hard to come by on a night such as this. The air is tense,
cool. I
and
like
memories
this.
of the battle at Kislev leave you restless and on edge. Suddenly, a peal of thunder shatters the stillness, followed by a howling wind that shakes the tower to its foundations. Foul magic curdles the
Oh,
air
yeah.
and screams.
Yeah, I
echo
dig
in the
this.
courtyard
This is good.
outside. The tower is under attack.
Sounds like trouble in the courtyard. I'd bet.
Well, here's my attack button. Good to know. And my interact. So this is what Warhammer is. Okay,
Chaos
just
forces are stop.
a top-down-ish kind of thing, I guess. So it's another Diablo. Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. I only have so much room for these kind of games, and I play them in superhero games. When you're use LB. Got ya.
Thanks, Sigma, you're here. Stand far. Upstairs in the...
You know what? I learned my lesson with complete or delete pretty well. Delete. I don't want to be an asshole, but I only like so many games like this. I barely like Diablo, and like, to be honest, the games that I play like this are the Ultimate Alliance series, you know, and Diablo. If I can get people to play with me, which is harder and harder in the adult world. But yeah, I'm not gonna say that I don't like Warhammer. It's not a need that I need fulfilled. And it sucks that it took me fucking this long to get to it, but whatever. It is what it is. So, sorry everybody. Warhammer, not my thing. Unless there's a different style of gameplay that comes throughout the other series, no, I'm good. This is just a bunch of... I love fantasy, but this is a lot of bullshit that I don't need to listen to. So that's all there is to it. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning into Warhammer. We're going to come back with some different games. Stay tuned to see what we do on the next Complete or Delete.
Be sure to check out the Is That All podcast for all of your geek news. You can find us anywhere you can stream and download podcasts, and find us on social media at Is That All Pod.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me grow and lets me know that you guys like the content that I'm putting out there. Be sure to check out more videos, especially more Complete or Delete. You can find me everywhere on social media at Beefy Thiefy.